No. Not a thing. It's made up for Halloween.
Would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? How many cats would a cat nip if it nipped at a cat if it could? Just how high would a horsefly fly if a horsefly could fly?
Ever see that sign? Ever see that sign they hang over certain rides in an amusement park, stating, "You must be this tall to..." Well, it's kind of the same thing here. You must be this tall to ride this pony. Sorry. Man, are we in trouble? Man, are we in trouble if tornadoes are just God's dick out for a spin? I usually can tell from the second I pass through the third lockdown door that inside here today the world's going to look like it's been shaved by a drunken barber. Talent scout. Following one of his most recent command performances, he was described as a cross somewhere between Dr. Sardonicus and Phantom of his own ego drama. Lately I've been wondering, just how big and fragile is that carpet of eggs everybody has to walk around you on? Ignoramus, ignorambunius, Latin translation. We know nothing, and we will never know anything. Entitlement, poor self-esteem, and learned helplessness, question and answer. 1. No, an erection does not count as evidence of personal growth. You're just not whistling Dixie. The song that starts off, Wish I Was in the Land of Cotton, was written actually in New York City in a hotel room in 1859 by a down-and-out composer from Ohio. Okay, who's been eating my artificial ear? Alexander Graham Bell did not, in fact, invent the first telephone. Actually, 15 years before, a German schoolteacher came up with a device he called an artificial ear. It was composed of a violin, a knitting needle, a scale replica of the human ear carved out of knotty pine, and a piece of sausage. Something about him, I don't know, never could put my finger on it, but he always rubbed me the wrong way. Sorry. I didn't know you came with instructions. This year I was thinking I just might re-gift some of my rescue dog poetry for you. My career in porn. Yes, it's true. Briefly back in the 70s, I was a stunt dick. Later in life, I did the voiceovers for When They Forgot Their Lines. He was a slice of life. None of his kitchen knives or even his perpetual axe to grind were sharp enough. have any hobby horses? And she rode him like a hobby horse, till she either broke it or lost interest. Please don't play that again, Sam. Of course, you had better remember this. A kiss is still a kiss, or a swing or a miss. While a sigh has become an alibi, it would seem the fundamental things have gone awry as time goes by. Roll the credits. The light in my kitchen this time of year in the late afternoon looks like that last scene from Ironweed. This poem wants to put my tongue in your ear. 10 years after we gave each other a taste of better. Since then, I've become a Sunday masturbator. What did you become? Once upon a lecturer. Sometimes I lapse into talking like Dr. Phil in full sotto vox cadence in lecture when my students seem uninterested or not paying attention. Yes, I know I have a problem, and I'm working on it. Judge Judy is next. the answer man. He was rather adroit at asking the tough questions when he was drunk, but later when he was sober, he never could remember the answers. Anatomical exit strategy definition. Now, the big difference between being called an asshole or a piece of shit is everyone has one of the former, while the latter expressly varies from anus to anus. Do the zombie zoom. Do me zoom zombie, do the zombie zoom, zoom zombie zoom, do me where the zombies never leave their room. So zoom zombie zoom. Excuse me, where do you keep your panic button? Do we hear what we see, deaf and blind sensing only frequency? We see in sound and hear in light. Validation. The other day, on my rubber-eaten cyber vanity mirror of Gridville, somebody sent me an anonymous message from the contact section. It was very brief and right to the point. It read, "Just who in hell do you think you are? Fuck you." And of course I responded immediately, writing, "Most days I think I'm an alcoholic jerk-off, but I have references." Sure, he's fascinating, but better catch his act between beer number 4 and beer number 7 because the curtain falls on his ass pretty fast after that. sweet smell of success. And Burt Lancaster tilted his head on a sideways stiletto angle and narrowed his eyes from a menacing grin and hissed to Tony Curtis. I shouldn't like to take a bite out of you, Sidney. You're a cookie full of arsenic. Exacerbate. You know, everywhere I seem to go, there seems to be some jerk-off using this word, trying to sound educated and articulate. And all I ever hear is that if irritate and exaggerate went to masturbate, you'd end up with exacerbate. My disturbing presence. Remember, phones don't kill drunks. Drunks kill phones. And friends, don't let drunks use phones. Nobody likes a Monday drunk. Call me. Film noir quote number 2. So what's she like? A dish. She's a 60-cent special, cheap, flashy, and strictly poison underneath the gravy. Those clowns in Midtown. Police report reads that 2 white Caucasian males in costume aggressively attempting to entertain riders on the A train into Times Square by insisting they eat peanuts out of a bowl. Your gender shovel. The last man who knew how to do anything died yesterday, and he remains unburied. Seems nobody remembered what to do next, except her. Just ask the Romance Accident Reconstruction Team. Our best advice to you in this instance is when you lose the one person you regarded as the love of your life, make it look like an accident. first day of summer. Solstice, scimitar shaft. Slicing search torch. Gleaming longest burn. Briefest pinnacle of light, declining seconds, and then a descent commences. The shadows start their encroaching erosion immediately. Beware. Learn the lesson from those who would build their world on your ashes. She ponders a relationship. Well, maybe. After all, you seem to be the same sort of emotional disaster as I am. It rains diamonds on Jupiter. Just for how many years did you dream of this? Your name somewhere, your name nowhere, still expected to show up with something to say? Dang me, they ought to take a rope and hang me. Was that Roger Miller or Henry Miller? And when you take the stage at the microphone around the corner, will anybody be able to tell the difference? So maybe just to be safe, go with the crimson and clover, over and over. He once thought that she was his stairway to the stars. Turns out she was really a rickety ladder with missing rungs to the basement. High wind warning memory in the parking lot. You know, after all is said and done now, I think that in retrospective, you weren't all that pretty, or not really all that smart. And sometimes now I really do think I found you in an abandoned shopping cart. At his last poetry reading, the host introduced him in his work that had been described as a really effective stool softener. Look, try to never be a shitty thing to do. Sure, say what you will and do what you do, but if any of that means washing your hands to do what you had to, try never to be just another shitty thing to do.
I missed a bus once and I was lucky. I wanted to see if I could be lucky twice.
Don't look back, baby. Don't ever look back. You know what happened to Lot's wife?